supposed to be the fast thing in the valley, man, but that can't be your car. It must be your mama's car.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at movies that were shot in a month or less, but left an impact that would endure for years.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference!
Number 10, Birdman, shot in 30 days.
You're doing this because you're scared to death, like the rest of us, that you don't matter. And you know what? You're right. You don't.
Birdman is shot to look like one continuous take, with characters constantly on the go. As such, production was anything but sluggish. Business Insider and The Hollywood Reporter claim it was a 30-day shoot, although producer John Lesher says it was more like 29. Either way, the turnaround was quick, but the movie wasn't mapped out overnight. Each action had to be meticulously staged, with every participant, from the cinematographer to the actors, in sync.
What? We cannot do that!
Of course we can do that. It's our show.
If you flubbed a line or missed a step, it ruined the whole shot. The filmmakers spent months blueprinting and blocking the film, while the cast had ample time to rehearse. That's not to say the shoot went flawlessly, but the careful planning paid off with a Best Picture Oscar.
It was weird, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, really think?
Yeah, I think people liked it.
Yeah.
Number 9, Rocky, shot in 28 days.
Why do you want to fight?
Because I can't sing or dance. Hey, yo.
Struggling to find work, Sylvester Stallone wrote himself the role of a lifetime. Fueled by Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner's championship match, Stallone scribed the first draft for Rocky in about 3 days. The script evolved over time, but it wasn't long until Rocky was being shopped around. Stallone had one demand: he would play the titular boxer.
Hey, you gotta be a moron. You gotta be a moron to want to be a fighter, you know what I mean?
Although United Artists wanted an established actor like Robert Redford, the studio ultimately agreed to Stallone's terms. Without a bankable star, Rocky was given a budget of barely $1 million and filmed in 28 days, what Stallone described as the gestation time for a water bug. The underdog movie went the distance, becoming 1976's highest grossing release, winning Best Picture and starting a franchise that's still going strong. Number 8, Moonlight, shot in 25 days.
That right there, you're in the middle of the world, man.
The genesis of Moonlight traces to 2003, when Terrell Alvin McCraney wrote a semi-autobiographical play. About a decade later, Barry Jenkins used the play as a basis for his script, incorporating many of his life experiences. Although Moonlight spent years coming to fruition, the shoot lasted 25 days. Andre Holland, who plays the adult Kevin, had 5 days to film his scenes. Naomi Harris had even less time, shooting her scenes as Chiron's mother in 3 days.
So you ain't gotta love me, but you gonna know that I love you.
The most iconic moment where Mahershala Ali Swan teaches Chiron to swim wrapped after 90 minutes due to unforeseen stormy weather. Like Chiron, Moonlight went a long way in a relatively short period, winning Best Picture and making back over 40 times its $1.5 million budget.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you're gonna be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
Number 7, Get Out, shot in 23 days.
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Jordan Peele's evolution from comedian to master of horror began with Get Out, which showed how the two genres are closer than we assume. Unable to take advantage of a California tax rebate, Peele moved production to Alabama, where principal photography occurred over 23 days. Peele spent more time crafting the screenplay than he did behind the camera. The idea came to him almost a decade earlier, while watching the Democratic primaries.
By the way, I would have voted for Obama for a 3rd term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
He spent the next 5 years fleshing out the story. It wasn't until he met producer Sean McKittrick in 2013 that Peele was commissioned to write a script, finishing the first draft in 2 months. The final script won Peele an Oscar, while Get Out grossed over $250 million on $4.5 million.
You were one of my favorites.
You hear that, Chris? Huh? One of my favorites.
Number 6, Clerks, shot in 21 days.
You're just trying to scrape out a living. Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but what are you talking about?
Clerks was shot in black and white on an initial budget of $27,575. Writer-director Kevin Smith didn't have to spend much time location scouting, using the convenience store he worked at as the main backdrop. So it's not surprising that Smith wrapped the shoot in 21 days, plus 2 extra for minor additional footage. Smith probably could have finished the film even quicker if it weren't for an exhausting schedule.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I know. I stopped by your house. Your mom told me you left like at 6 or something.
Since the quick stop was open during the day, Smith could only shoot there between 10:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. Smith had to be back at work by 3 p.m., giving him a narrow window to sleep. Yet, Clerks was a cultural awakening for every aspiring filmmaker with limited resources.
See?
It's important to have a job that makes a difference, boys.
Number 5. Halloween, shot in 20 days.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Before becoming a decade-spanning franchise, Halloween was a scrappy little production. It had no established stars, although newcomer Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't a stranger to Hollywood royalty. The film cost roughly $300,000. $1.98 of that budget went toward a Captain Kirk mask for Michael Myers. John Carpenter had 4 weeks to complete principal photography, shooting for 20 days.
I have the feeling that you're way off on this. You have the wrong feeling.
The film's opening from Michael's POV will be the last scene they shot. It was also possibly the hardest to shoot, with the crew doing nearly 20 takes over 16 hours. They likely would have done more if the sun didn't come up. While the sun had set on production, a new era of horror was rising with Halloween, still being the gold standard for slashers.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Number 4. Whiplash, shot in 19 days.
There are no 2 words in the English language more harmful than good job.
Everything about Whiplash goes together harmoniously, from Damien Chazelle's direction to Tom Cross's editing to the pitch-perfect performances. We can't imagine the film without J.K. Simmons or Miles Teller. Neither could Chazelle, but because of Teller's tight schedule, they'd only have 19 shooting days. This gave Teller little time to learn the drums.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go. 5, 6, 7.
The cast and crew made the most of their 18-hour workdays. Nothing would slow Chazelle down, including a car accident that gave him a possible concussion. Even after shooting, the filmmakers had just about a month to edit Whiplash if it was going to meet the deadline for Sundance submissions. As stressful as the production was, the $3.3 million film made it to Sundance and eventually the Oscars.
Neiman, you weren't a part.
Number 3. Once, shot in 17 days.
You know, during the day, people want to hear songs they know, just songs that they recognize. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't make any money.
Once is about as humble as movies get. Just as the central characters are trying to make beautiful music with what little they have, something similar could be said about the filmmakers. With an $150,000 budget, director John Carney invested some of his own money and even forewent a salary to pay the leads.
That would be nice.
Would it?
Be interesting.
Would it?
The only thing tighter than costs was the 17-day shooting schedule. Carney said everybody was putting all they've learned over the years into those 17 days. This shines though in the finished film, which is equally intimate and passionate. The little movie went far, showing a profit of almost $20 million at the box office, receiving Oscar Gold for the song Falling Slowly, and inspiring a Tony-winning stage musical.
Really fantastic stuff. That'll be it, no question.
Number 2, My Dinner with Andre, shot in 16 days.
Life becomes habitual, and it is today.
For many audiences in 1981, this $475,000 art house film redefined what cinema can be. The film is essentially a long conversation between 2 people. Sometimes it's not even that, with the titular Andre doing most of the talking, as Wally nods along, hanging on every word.
You know, in Sanskrit, the root of the verb to be is the same as to grow or to make grow.
Huh.
According to director Louis Malle, the film took 16 days to shoot, but the actors spent 6 months rehearsing. Even with all this prep time, shooting days could take up to 12 hours with every scene being done multiple times. By the day's conclusion, actor Andre Gregory says he was hyperventilating from all that talking. The film also sparked numerous conversations, receiving critical acclaim, grossing over $5 million, and ushering in a new age of experimental storytelling.
In other words, I'm adequate to do any sort of a task, but I'm not adequate just to be a human being.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Paranormal Activity, shot in 7 days.
Did you go get the camera first?
Yeah, well, I thought it was a ghost or something like real scary.
I'm nearly losing my mind and you're grabbing the camera.
When people think of found footage, the Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity immediately come to mind. Both proved that this genre could not only be extremely profitable, but these movies could be produced in a snap. Blair Witch Project was shot in 8 days. Paranormal Activity beat it by 1. For a week, stars Katie Featherston and Mika Sloat basically lived at director Oren Peli's house with the crew. While shooting, Peli also kept busy editing and developing the special effects. Although the actors returned for additional shoots, the bulk of the film was shot in those 7 days. It'd be a couple of years until Paranormal Activity received a wide release, but once it did, the $15,000 film exploded into a phenomenon.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but the camera hasn't helped and the stupid footprints haven't helped. Do you think that thing would have left footprints if it didn't want to? No.
Can you think of any other successful movies with rapid production periods? Waste no time telling us in the comments.
I have to believe in a world outside my own mind. I have to believe that my actions still have meaning, even if I can't remember them.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.